This is an Ellis Mowers and Mower small engine repair. Stay connected on Instagram and Facebook at Ellis Mowers and More. Comments or questions? Leave them below or email me, ellis@ellismowers.com. Parts used in today's repair are found using the links in the description below. And as always, like and subscribe for more small engine content. On today's repair, we're going to take these two push mowers and basically turn them into one. This Husqvarna, although it's newer, the whole right rear of the deck is just completely rotted on it. This Craftsman, the deck is in good shape, it's just older, got a little bit of rust on it. So what we're just going to do is take the engine off of this one, put it onto this one, wire up a toggle switch to turn it on and off just like we've already got on the Husqvarna, and that's all we really need to do on this. Hopefully, as long as all the bolts and stuff come out, we should be in business when it comes to putting everything together fairly easily. So let's go ahead and get started. So like I mentioned, this Husqvarna deck is completely shot. I don't know if some sort of acid or something got dripped on it, because you can kind of see it's just been bowled up and rusting out. It got really bad over the last couple years, because I did service this thing for the guy. For it to be a 2012 model, it's a 2011 model. Not too bad. The engine runs good, so we're going to pop the engine off and just slap it on this deck. This is actually the nicest deck that I have that doesn't have an engine on it right now. It's the same depth. It's a Craftsman deck, 22 inch, so I can take the blade and everything on this. This one was a self-propel. The self-propel doesn't work. I don't know if it's because of the auto walk or if it's because of the belt. Either way, it's not worth me fixing because of the way that this deck is. So I'm going to grab all the tools that I think I need. I'm just going to go ahead and go to town on this thing. I'll let y'all watch a time lapse of me changing out everything, and we'll see. And it's very easy. Just take the pull rope off. If you have a little cable, just take the cable off, take the engine off, slap it on the new mower. You're good to go. So let's do it. So we're going to have to get a little creative here. I remember why I didn't use this deck before. I already have a toggle switch that's wired to this, so it's not going to be that big of a deal. But what I'm going to do is either going to turn this thing sideways or turn it backwards. I might turn it backwards, because the mounting hole for the front of this is right here where the self-propel goes on this machine. So that's not going to work. So let me figure out what I can do here. It's going to be a weird mower. The engine's worth probably more than the mower itself will be, but hey, I got plenty of engines and plenty of mowers around here, so plus these bicycle wheels, people love them, so I should still be able to fetch an okay amount. Still more than a rotted out deck over there with no self-propel, so that's good. Let me figure out what I'm going to do here. We'll mount it up and run it here in just a second. I'll put y'all back on time lapse. So there's the finished product. It actually doesn't look too bad, the orange cover on the gray deck, especially after we get it cleaned up here. Two things you notice, I didn't show putting the blade on, but putting the blade on is very easy. Two things you notice, you saw I put the brackets back on, even though this is not going to be self-propel with the deck. That's so that it can distribute the weight of the engine away from just where the mounting bolt holes are. So I did that, and basically just kept the toggle switch and everything, just turn the engine backwards. So that's just because of the way that the deck is. I wanted to move it, turn it forwards, but we've got a toggle switch on it. The person can just come to the front of the mower and crank it up. They used to do it in the 60s and the 70s and didn't have any problems. Why can't they do it today? So let's crank it up here. It may take a few pulls just because I had it turned on its side, so the oil may not work, or the oil may have gotten in the exhaust or something. So wrong way on the switch. Almost out of gas. Fix it. Fun times. So we basically just built a lawnmower in about 20 minutes or so. So we'll clean it up. I'll give you a final look, and we'll send this one on down the line. So it's a few days later, and I realized that I never finished the end clip for that video. When I cleaned it up, a lot of that stuff was surface rust, so it kind of didn't look much different than when I showed it to you on that last clip. But it just kind of shows you that within about a half hour, I took two frames and one engine, one that was a bad frame, one that was a good frame, and I had a good engine on a bad frame. I put the good engine on the good frame. Had a little bit of troubleshooting, problem solving in order to make it work. We made it work. Got it running. Of course, it was a similar frame because both of them were Craftsman or AYP frames. So it was just a matter of the shaft height was all the same and all that good stuff. Blade adapter and all that stuff was all the same. Deck width was all the same. So it was just a matter of taking 3 bolts out, rewiring that on-off switch that I had wired on the previous machine when the cable broke for the blade stop lever, and just putting it all together, and now we're going to send it on. So I appreciate y'all watching the channel as always. Thanks for joining me along on this 2-in-1 Frankenmower is what I like to call these things. And I appreciate y'all watching again, and y'all take care, and I'll catch you on the next video. See you then.